Salvete discipuli, or hello students. Today I'm going to read to you All the Places to Love by Patricia McLaughlin, and on the grid you will see a link to her Amazon page, and I really encourage you to go and read it because she tells a really interesting story there that will give you a feel for who she is as an author, and you'll also see some of the other really wonderful books that she has written. We have read a few of those books here, and she's the author of the Sarah Plain and Tall series. So I encourage you to check that out. But I'm going to read the story to you, and it'll be almost like we're together in class. So we've got All the Places to Love, and you can see the paintings are by Mike Wimmer, and we really want to point that out because the paintings are just beautiful. So you can have your own book open as I read to you, or you can just follow along with what I've got for you here. You can see the dedication page. This is for Bill Morris with love, and then that's Patricia's dedication. Then we have dedicated to my grandparents, Jace and Goldie Hambrick, for their 64 years of marriage, which serve as the mortar that binds my family together. Boy, I feel like you could even take a little time to talk even about that dedication. What, first of all, is mortar? And what does it mean to have a long-term marriage bind a family together? But we are going to dive in. On the day I was born, my grandmother wrapped me in a blanket made from the wool of her sheep. Look at that face. She held me up in the open window so that what I heard first was the wind. What I saw first were all the places to love. The valley, the river falling down over the rocks, the hilltop where the blueberries grew. My grandfather was painting the barn, and when he saw me, he cried. He carved my name, Eli, on a rafter beside his name and grandmother's name and the names of my papa and mama. It's kind of hard to see it, but there they are. Mama carried me on her shoulders before I could walk through the meadows and hayfields. The cows watched us and the sheep scattered. The dogs ran ahead, looking back with sly smiles. When the grass was high, only their tails showed. When I was older, Papa and I plowed the fields. Where else is soil so sweet, he said. Once Papa and I lay down in the field holding hands, and the birds surrounded us. Raucous black grackles, red wings, crows in the dirt that swaggered like pirates. When we left, Papa put a handful of dirt in his pocket. I did too. My grandmother loved the river best of all the places to love. That sound, like a whisper, she said. Gathering in pools where trout flashed like jewels in the sunlight, grandmother sailed little bark boats downriver to me with messages. I love you, Eli, one said. We jumped from rock to rock, across the river to where the woods began, where bunchberry grew under the pine needle path and trillium bloomed. Under the beech tree was a soft, rounded bed where a deer had slept. The bed was warm when I touched it. When spring rains came and the meadow turned to marsh, cattails stood like guards and killdeers called. ducks nested by marsh marigolds, and the old turtle, his shell all worn, no matter how slow, still surprised me. Sometimes we climbed to the place Mama loved best, with our blueberry buckets and a chair for my grandmother, to the blueberry barren where no trees grew. The sky an arm's length away, where marsh hawks skimmed over the land, and bears came to eat fruit, and wild turkeys left footprints for us to find, like messages. Where else, said my mama, can I see the sun rise on one side and the sun set on the other? My grandfather's barn is sweet-smelling and dark and cool. Leather harnesses hang like paintings against old wood, and hay dust floats like gold in the air. Grandfather once lived in the city, and he once lived by the sea, but the barn is the place he loves most. Where else, he says, can the soft sound of cows chewing make all the difference in the world? Today we wait, him sitting on a wooden slat chair and me on the hay. Until much later, my grandmother holds up a small bundle in the open window, wrapped in a blanket made from the wool of her sheep, and my grandfather cries. Together we carve the name Sylvie in the rafter, besides the name of grandfather and grandmother, and my mama and papa and me. My sister is born. Someday I might live in the city, someday I might live by the sea, but soon I will carry Sylvie on my shoulders through the fields. I will send her messages downriver in small boats, and I will watch her at the top of the hill, trying to touch the sky. I will show her my favorite place, the marsh, where ducklings follow their mother like tiny tumbles of leaves. All the places to love are here, I'll tell her, no matter where you may live. Where else, I will say, does an old turtle crossing the path make all the difference in the world? I hope you enjoyed the reading of All the Places to Love. You'll see on the grid some recommendations for how to spend your time talking about this book. I hope that you noticed there were some similes in there, some alliterations, and even personifications where nature was given qualities that seem more human-like. So I want you to look for those and discuss them. And then the most exciting thing is that you are going to think about a place that you love, that's special to you. And I hope you'll be inspired by the style of artwork in the book and using maybe crayons to outline and then watercolors to fill in, or even colored pencils. I'd love for you to sketch something particular to that special place. And when we gather again, maybe we'll be able to share that together. Have a great day.